Welcome back, Earth Science. We are going to pick off on where we left off with the climate, not climate notes. So you guys want to grab this handout or your notebook, grab that again. And we looked at last week 3 of the factors that affect climate: 1, latitude; 2, location; and we left off with number 3, landform. So today we're going to focus on elevation. And if you notice, both of these climate graphs are at the equator. So we're both at 0 degrees latitude. The difference between them is that one is at sea level and one is at 7,000 feet above sea level. So if you remember, actually, when we looked at the first factor that affected latitude, one of the climate graphs was for the equator. So we know the temperature of the equator, we have a really high temperature. So we're going to use the green again to show our monthly temperature average. So at the equator, at sea level, I have a really high temperature. In terms of our monthly average, we're just going to use that red right up on that line to show our our annual average temperature. And in this case, there is no range because we don't have any change, right? There's no range because there's no change in our rays and days. Now, we talked about precipitation before. What we have is we have that warm air rises. So remember, when that warm air rises, as it rises, it becomes cooler because there's less air up there. So our air pressure is going to decrease. We have a decrease in air pressure. We have a decrease in temperature. So when we have that low pressure system, and those lows bring rain and snow, so our precipitation is fairly high. So we remember back to like the rainforests, located in that same region. So we're going to show precipitation fairly high. But that's our last 12th bar. All right, so warm air. We know that the warm air can hold more water than cold air. All right, so now let's look at 7,000 feet above sea level. If you guys remember, when you guys did your layers of the atmosphere, as I increased in altitude, we saw there was a decrease in temperature. And it really was based on what we just talked about. As an increase in altitude, there's fewer air particles up there. Therefore, a lower air pressure, a lower temperature. So the temperature, if you guys will notice, let me get my green. Even though we're at the same latitude, we're going to actually have a lower temperature. So our red, again, same red on that line. I'm just drawing it slightly on it so you guys can see the. And then we're going to say lower average temperature because if I decrease in pressure, I'm going to decrease my temperature. So our precipitation is going to look this. All right. So the other main thing I want you to see too is that you should have noticed the range here. And the range, again, is the same. Because you have the same amount, same rays and days. All right, guys, as always, if you have any questions, send us an email or a message on Google Classroom. Thank you.